By 1994, Halloween Horror Nights was no longer an experiment. It had proven itself, and Universal Orlando was ready to go all in. The fog was thicker, the scares were sharper, and the crowds bigger than ever. But this wasn't just another year of haunted houses and chainsaws. This was the year Halloween Horror Nights started to grow up. So grab your event map, step into the fog, and let's backtrack to Halloween Horror Nights 4, The Curse of the Crypt. Wait, not yet. That's next year. In 1994, there was no icon, no official theme, just pure, raw horror energy that would set the stage for everything to come. To really understand how big 1994 was, we have to rewind a bit. In 1991, Universal took a gamble with Fright Nights, a small 3-night event to test if guests would pay to be scared after dark. It was a hit, and by 1993, the event had evolved into Halloween Horror Nights 3, with multiple houses and its first original concepts. But it was still finding its identity. Was it a movie tie-in event? An original horror showcase? A fun party with scares? In 1994, Universal finally started figuring that out. In 1994, Halloween Horror Nights returned to Universal Studios Florida for its 4th year of Fear. The event ran for about 8 nights between October 14th and October 31st, continuing its annual growth in both scale and popularity. Though still early in its history, HHN had already begun cementing its reputation as one of the scariest and most creative Halloween events in the world. While the Crypt Keeper wouldn't make his debut as the event's host until 1995, HHN 1994 still delivered a chilling atmosphere filled with monsters, mayhem, and a level of intensity that few other events at the time could match. Guests were treated to a mix of terrifying haunted houses, thrilling scare zones, and a live entertainment, all crafted with the cinematic flair that Universal was known for. This year featured 4 haunted houses, each with their own twisted personalities. The Boneyard, one of the standout houses of 1994, guests entered a decrepit excavation site filled with human remains, ancient curses, and bone-chilling scares. It was one of the first times Universal really experimented with heavy theming and environmental storytelling. Dungeon of Terror, the franchise that started it all, made a return, darker and nastier than ever. Narrow passageways, medieval torture chambers, and bloody corpses filled every room. Fans loved its classic haunted house feel, and it became a nostalgic highlight for longtime HHN fans. Hell's Kitchen, a twisted, fiery nightmare set inside a restaurant from hell. Guests encountered demonic chefs serving up fresh body parts, sizzling screams, and grotesque humor. It blended horror and satire perfectly, setting a tone that HHN would continue for years. The Psychopath Maze, a terrifying journey into the mind of madness. This house threw guests into a chaotic world of escaped mental patients, warped visuals, and psychological horror. It was disorienting, loud, and way ahead of its time. Each of these houses pushed the boundaries of what Universal could do, moving from simple scares to immersive, narrative-driven horror. For Halloween Horror Nights 4, guests stepped into the twisted streets of Horrorwood, a scare zone that turned Universal Studios Florida into a blood-soaked Hollywood nightmare. This was where movie magic met pure terror, with the streets crawling with gruesome characters straight out of horror's darkest corners. The scare zone featured 3 major performance groups that gave the streets their chaotic energy. The Chainsaw Drill Team revved through the crowds and their signature blend of noise and menace. Lizzie Borden and her axe corps brought a chilling mix of rhythm and brutality. And the bizarre monks in the hood added a darkly comedic twist to the chaos. It was an experience that blurred the line between performance and panic, a defining example of how Universal was beginning to turn its scare zones into living, breathing nightmares. Halloween Horror Nights 4 wasn't just about haunted houses and scare zones. The event also delivered some over-the-top live entertainment that kept guests laughing, screaming, and cheering between scares. The main show was Bill and Ted Meet Timecop, another wild and hilarious entry in the long-running Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure series. It mixed pop culture satire with sci-fi chaos, perfectly capturing the energy of the early 90s while poking fun at everything from action movies to TV stars of the era. Next was The Price is Fright, a twisted parody of the classic game show that brought dark humor and creepy prizes to life on stage. It was bizarre, campy, and pure Halloween Horror Nights fun. And then there was Robosaurus, the massive, fire-breathing, car-crushing, mechanical dinosaur that roared to life during the event. It was loud, destructive, and absolutely spectacular, the kind of spectacle that defined early HHN. Together, these shows rounded out the event with a perfect balance of comedy, chaos, and pure 90s excess. Halloween Horror Nights 1994 might not be as famous as some later years, but without it, the event wouldn't have evolved into the world-class horror experience it is today. It was gritty, experimental, and full of raw creative energy. Thanks for backtracking with me through the fog. If you enjoyed this look at HHN's early years, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. It really helps me keep bringing these stories to life. Next time, we'll move into 1995, the year the Crypt Keeper made his first appearance and HHN finally found its voice. Until then, stay spooky, and I'll see you on the next ride.